friends, Mindy here. I am going to be doing another process video making some ephemera as part of the Dephemerember project that is hosted by Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel. This is a collaboration between the two of them, and I'm kind of doing the prompts sort of out of order at this point and picking and choosing kind of which ones I want to do at this point. I don't know that I'll do all 25. We'll see. So I've done a few, but I want to do this number, the day 14 prompt, which is tape or index Rolodex card. I do memory dex cards all the time, and so I wanted to do something a little bit different. And so I'm actually going to do index cards and some washi tape. And I have had in my stash for a really long time these index cards already done. And these are ones that just kind of picked up paint and things back years ago. I think some of them are distress paints and acrylic paint, and then others I think are like spray inks. So I don't remember though necessarily which one is which, so it'll be interesting as I start working with these. But as I'm kind of holding this, I'm thinking this would be a really great size for a little journal, like it's like 3 by 5, 3.5 by 5. Anyway, so I'm just going to flip through here and find some of these ones that I have already got some background going on, and that are going to kind of coordinate with some other of the ephemera that I have created already for this Dephemerember project. And I'm just going to go through here and pull out some ones that I find interesting. And then I think it's going to, because some of these colors are really like bright and bold, I think what I'm going to do is kind of balance that with some really bold black and white. So I think a lot of the ephemera or washi tape that I'm going to use is going to be black and white. So I'm going to put you on fast forward, and I'm going to go through here and pick out some cards, and then I'll just kind of start putting down some washi tape. I don't know that I'm going to have anything that is necessarily like a finished card, because I'm creating this really that I can use in like future journals and stuff that I'm going to be making. And so I don't want there to necessarily be a very specific like focal point collage kind of situation happening at this point. This is really just kind of getting these started so that I can use them in some journals that I have in mind. I say that, and we'll see what happens when I get started. But for now, that's what my plans are. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to put you on fast forward and make some index cards using some washi tape. Okay, so as I mentioned, I have some ideas in mind for some journals that I'm going to be using these cards with. And so one of them has kind of a purple and teal and blue kind of theme to it already. You may have seen it on my channel already. And so I'm pulling out a few cards that I think will go in that journal, and then some other cards that I can use in a journal that I have plans to create here in a few weeks. So I'm just went ahead and pulled out 5 or so that I want to start working on, and I'm starting with this really bold pink and kind of red and yellow card. I created another piece of ephemera earlier this month that I think is going to work really well with this card, and so just am kind of making this to sort of coordinate with that. So I put a really wide strip of washi down across the bottom, and I cannot remember where that's from. It might be Felicity Jane. I'm sorry, some of these washi tapes I've had for so long, I will not be able to tell you where I got them from, but I just used a few different pieces of washi and ran them across the bottom. And so now moving on to another card, and this washi tape is probably Tim Holtz with the butterflies on it. And so I'm just trimming off the edge here. And originally I had said I was not going to be creating any focal images or anything like that, but I remembered that I also had these acetate butterflies, and I just couldn't help myself at this point. So I pulled out one of the butterflies that would kind of fit up in that top left-hand corner. And then I have one of these chipboard quotes. I forget what these are called actually, but these are also from Tim Holtz. And but they're really thick, so I just went ahead and pulled off like the back couple layers of chipboard just to kind of tone it down just a little bit. It's still pretty dimensional, but with these things you can kind of just reach back there and kind of just pull off several of the layers of chipboard, and it comes off really easy if you want to kind of adjust how thick they are, and they still glue down just fine and everything. So I just added one of those quotes on there, and then I'm on the acetate butterfly. I'm just trying to spread the glue around, but I'm just putting it kind of in the middle section. I'm using Helmar 450 quick dry glue here, which is a clear glue, and just kind of spreading it around, but just kind of in that middle section so that you don't really see the glue all that much. And now I've moved on to this other card. I decided on this one to run the washi tape vertically, and so you can see I've kind of torn it off, and then I had this extra little strip. I didn't really want it to go to waste, so I just kind of layered it, kind of just slightly overlapping the first one that I put down. It's from the same roll, but it I just kind of like the layered effect. And then I'm going to take a really thin washi and run it along the left side, and then run across horizontally across near the bottom. And then I just felt like that kind of L shape really at this point needed some, you know, some interest. And so even though I said I wasn't going to do that, I just went ahead and pulled out some little ephemera pieces. These are some Tim Holtz ephemera pieces, and I just kind of created a little cluster there in the corner that I can use. It's not enough, you know, it's still not a super strong focal point. I'll still be able to add to it, but it's just enough to get me started basically. And so now I've moved on to this other card. This washi tape I think is from the Simple Stories Carpe Diem line. So again, I'm kind of doing a line of washi horizontally and then a line going vertically as well. I'm trying to keep a little bit of interest in these. And then I remembered that I had these Tim Holtz tags, so I'm just going to create a little cluster again, kind of where those washi tapes intersect, just for a little extra interest on there. And I'm just inking up these little tags. I'm kind of deciding how I want them layered. Like while they're in my hand, I'm going to kind of glue them together instead of gluing them down exactly. And then I'm actually going to, so the little tags are glued to each other, and then I'm going to take that little cluster and actually staple it down. It's not going to be glued down. And so what this does is create a little tuck spot. So if I use this in a journal, I can actually create a pocket, and then I'll also have a little tuck spot where I can stick some other tags or whatever. So I'm not sure exactly how that will get used, but it just gives me some options that way. And then as I was going through some of my Tim Holtz ephemera, I came across this clock that I really wanted to use because of the really bold black and white. So I pulled out some washi tape that has like some, it looks like the inner workings of a clock, like some cogs and wheels and stuff, and used that across the bottom. And then I'm going to put that that clock there on the right side. And then I found this chipboard that said "Collect Beautiful Moments." And so I'm just cutting it down so that I can run it down vertically instead of having the really long quote horizontally. So I'm just trimming it down. And again, I pulled off some of the back layers just to make it a little bit thinner. And then I'm just going to use my Barely Arts Precision Glue to glue all those pieces down. This one is pretty much, there won't be, you know, a whole lot of room for me to be able to add to this, but I can tuck it in a journal. I can still journal on the back and use it as a journaling spot, or create a pocket from it, or, you know, all kinds of things. So at this point I decided I was gonna, go ahead and go around all of these and just kind of distress the edges. I am using, on most of these cards, I'm using archival ink to do this in black. This is just because it's going to be waterproof, and I don't know how I'll be using these cards in the future, and I just don't want the ink to run. So I put black around all of them, except on this one light blue one, I actually used brown on there. But I'm just going to do a close-up really quick of all of these little index cards. And if you liked this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, bye-bye.